here's something. Let's see. It seems to be information on Lucia's family's projects. There are a lot of redactions here. Seems like someone was trying to hide something. So what did we find out? Any big revelations? What's wrong?
This isn't what I expected at all. I think you need to read this yourself.
Well, sure, but... all right.
Yes.
I washed my hands of it, but they pressed onwards. He was fully aware of what I taught them, of course. What I'd taken from the Institute. And so, he let it happen. He knew they were going to try to pierce the veil. He knew Vile. Broke bread with them. But when they and the rest of the Verdant Minds went off to die...
And now read this. A transcript of one of his speeches, delivered around the same time.
We will root out these dissenter vermin at all levels of administration. In the meantime, to ensure peace and prosperity, so he let the explosion happen. And used it for his own political gain. Wow. He's a real piece of work.
He didn't exactly engineer this, but he isn't innocent either. He sat back, and then they unintentionally triggered a huge explosion, conveniently wiping themselves out in the and just like that, the Eye had a scapegoat on whom to blame the cyclical miasma. He used panic and fear to secure himself a spot as provisional leader. But everyone eventually forgot that provisional bit. I genuinely didn't expect this at all. I thought I'd find out that he'd just been mildly conniving or...
So, what do we do about this then?
We need to confront him. He may be the Enclave's leader, but we can still take him to task on...
Wait, what? You really think that'll work?
Yes. I'll present him with our evidence, and he'll have to give us an explanation.
I'm open to the idea. But what makes you think he'll want to speak to us?
I'm confident in my powers of persuasion. I may be young, but a lifetime spent orbiting the seats of power in well, let's just say that I know how to appeal to a politician's better judgment.
Well, I trust your...
Excellent. I'll finish writing this dossier, and I'll meet you in Cassidan's Hold. Have faith.
It's not you who I'm lacking faith in. Trust me. Anyway, I'll see you at the Hold.
I won't be long.
Why do I feel as if I'm about to have my time wasted?
Please allow me to present my research. I promise it won't take but a moment. I've compiled a dossier concerning an event that occurred in the Enclave around 35 years ago.
And what event would that be, pray tell?
The attempt to pierce the veil. I can only assume you were familiar with the Verdant Mines.
The name rings a bell, though it's been decades, as you said.
They were the subject of many of your speeches. It's interesting that your memory on the subject is hazy.
You'll forgive me for not remembering the exact wording or subject of any of the
That's not a problem. I can summarize my findings. Firstly, our evidence suggests, with a high level of confidence, that you were aware of the Verdant. Secondly, in support of that assertion, you gained this knowledge through your close relationship with the enchantress known as Lucia.
I never knew any enchantress by that name.
That's odd, since you seem to have been a recurring character in her personal journals. Though, truth be told, she didn't seem particularly fond of you in the later entries. So, back to the attempt to pierce the veil.
I knew that it would go poorly.
You knew?
Of course I did. But what does it matter?
You could have stopped it.
But I didn't. Pray...
I wanted to learn the truth about the past, to uncover what had been hidden.
Lane Free Selectis. That's who you are, yes?
That's correct. Though, I'm not sure how...
House Lectis of Judea. It's no wonder you felt the need to make something of yourself. Well, today I won't waste my breath debating a jumped-up little snot from a house so consumed by... Once a failure of a house, always a failure of a house. And it shows in your insipid rant.
Did you just call me a jumped-up little...
No, I didn't. You must have misheard me.
I...
Will that be all from you? I have other matters to attend to.
Skies! That is enough. Lane deserves better than...
You dare to speak of respect? You, who broke into our home, who undid Asylum, who attempts to destroy
I'm trying to help rebuild the Enclave, not destroy it. Self-important jerks like you aren't helping.
I have single-handedly held back the tide of oblivion. I'm not self-important. You and your lackey will remove yourselves from my presence, or I'll call the guards.
Bryn, thanks, but it's not worth it.
Skies above.
Isla?
I can't even begin to explain how
Did I make it worse?
That reminded me of why I left.
Home.
Everything back there was all about your house. Your actions or intent never mattered. And when I tried to forge a different path in life, the knives came out. I had no real choice but to leave. I thought I had left it all in my past. But now, here we are.
For years, no matter how hard I trained, my last mentor, Aaron, told me I wasn't strong enough to be a point. When he eventually named one of his friends, Aram, the Weaver Band's new point, even though he had no training, Aaron tried to convince me it made sense. Aram is just physiologically Of course, I took the first chance to get out after that. But until then, as much as I tried to ignore what Aaron was saying, a part of me was afraid he was right. Sometimes, when you're told the same thing over and over, you can't help but so. What I'm trying to say is that this guy has found his way inside your head.
I appreciate that. But for now, I think I just need to
Take all the time you need.
Thanks, Bryn. How did he know? I'm just baffled. I never told you, or anyone else, my full name. Not because I didn't want you to know, or because I thought you'd judge me, just that I'm allowed to hold information back.
And the eye threw it at you like he'd known you your whole life.
Yes, and he accurately described the state of my house, too.
I wonder how he knew.
That's the very question that's been torturing me. As far as I know, we're the only people to ever make it through the Veil. And I was most certainly born after it. There's no other way for information or news to make it through.
Before you ask, it wasn't me who told him.
But that raises the question, doesn't it? Who among us betrayed our trust? And how do they even know enough
To be honest with you, I don't love the idea that we've got someone in our midst sharing information like that. When we find out who did this, I think you're owed an apology.
Yes, I suppose we'll need to keep our eyes open. Stay vigilant. So, we've spoken about stories. The kinds that are lost to time or war. What is the story of Bryn, Slayer of Surgeborn, point of Aurea Silverbeak's legendary Weaver Band?
I suppose that's me in a nutshell, isn't it?
Yes, but what else? I can't help but wonder whether there will be anyone else.
I need someone who can match my accomplishments, of course. A mighty warrior. Or
perhaps a renowned scholar? They'd have to be extraordinarily prestigious, of course.
managing it.
Only takes Casman a little while to adapt her cooking to live.